Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's Dealer On webinar, 4 ways to make customers fall desperately in love with your dealership. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. Today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our amazing SEO, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the brand new Chameleon responsive website platform. We're still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back lead guarantee program. So does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads or your money back? Maybe you should check us out at our gorgeous brand new DealerOn website at DealerOn.com. Also, I got to let you know, DealerOn's going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Vegas, baby. So if you're going to be there, you just got to stop by booth 505 and say hi. Yeah, I'm going to be there. And really, we have the awesomest booth around. While you're getting your digital dealer on, please check out the speaking sessions from these DealerOn executives. Remember, it's booth 505, and we can't wait to see you there. Oh, we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have the one and only Joe Webb as our presenter today. Joe Webb is the president of Dealer Knows, an internet sales and digital marketing consulting firm specializing in the automotive industry. He maximizes companies' online investments through on-site training, virtual consulting, and the industry's first lead management coaching software. Joe has been called the funniest guy in the car business and passionately speaks and consults internationally. He films comedic videos about car sales that are almost entertaining, writes for countless publications and online resource sites, and he's viewed as one of the top process improvement experts in the industry. As a true dealer guy with a history of retail success, Joe is best known for blending the lines between entertainment and education, and he can be reached at joe@dealerknows.com. Joe Webb is also going to be speaking at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Las Vegas with DealerOn's very own VP of Marketing, Sean Rains. They're going to be discussing CSI dealership. I wish I had the music behind me. He's going to be talking about searching for clues and identifying the killers of your sales and marketing efforts. You're not going to want to miss that, so please check it out. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we're going to answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond to you by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at Dealer Knows Consulting, they're giving away a spectacular prize today on the webinar. Now pay attention, everyone. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win 20 task teacher graded leads. Dealer Knows is actually going to go into your CRM, monitor, and spot check how thoroughly your team are handling internet leads. And then they're going to provide you with 20 coached, graded reports as to what your team is doing right, maybe what they're doing wrong, and what steps they're missing in order to engage more shoppers. This is a tremendous prize for your dealership. This prize is valued at $600. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though, so stay tuned, and you could be the one winning this awesome prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. So fill it out because we're always looking for great feedback from our audience. Today, we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. And hey, do you tweet much? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Joe Webb at ZoneWeb. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. So let's get started. Let's learn 4 ways to make customers fall desperately in love with your dealership. Joe Webb, it is always a great day when I get to webinar with you. How are you, sir?
Good on yourself.
I'm doing wonderful, and I am so excited for this. It's funny because if I was smart, I probably should have put you in around Valentine's Day for this topic because I just love it so much. But hey, it's always a good day to talk about love and getting your customers to fall in love with you. I find it hard to believe, though, that you came up with 4 different ways to make customers fall desperately in love with your dealership, and I'm looking forward to learning all of them. So I know you have a lot to get to. Where do we begin?
Well, I think it's since this is like an 80 slide PowerPoint deck, it's like 80 different ways to get a customer to fall in love with you. So I'm going to speak extremely fast. I'm going to take out all the funny. And Eliana, when you're speaking to me, every day is Valentine's Day. So
Thank you, babe.
What we're going to talk about is sort of what I consider the Dealer Knows Notebook. And for those of you who don't know me, I am a diehard movie buff. Not, I love the movie Die Hard, don't get me wrong, but I actually love movies in general. And you will see countless slides, all in regard to romantic comedies, love stories, and the like. And all related to different ways in which you can start to improve how you influence customers and how they fall for you. Once again, I think Eliana did a fabulous job introducing me. My name is Joe Webb, and as you can see from this image, I am very good at getting people to like me. So the overall basic ways that you need to get customers to fall in love with your store involve 4 different touch points that they have. Number 1 is your digital assets, and most specifically your website. You need to meet cute with them. It's a romantic comedy phrase. You need to have an engaging way that you are memorable online to stand out from the crowd. From a lead management perspective, this is where you need to romance the customer. There needs to be a courtship, and you need to know the right things to be saying and the right things to be sending to people to win them over in that engagement. We know that the showroom involves star-crossed lovers. They aren't supposed to like us. They come up with their guards up in the showroom, and we're going to talk about some ways that you can better influence a customer and carry them through their transaction process. And lastly, how to create these lifelong love affairs when it comes to both your reputation and how you stay in touch post-sale with your customers to retain them as long-term clients. First, let's just talk basic about consumer shopping. We know that unfortunately, as dealerships and how consumers are shopping online, we just have to hope through serendipity that they come across our store and they look for us, they find us. And the reason that is because consumers are now doing 17 different points of actions before purchasing a vehicle. 17 different points. You can see from the size of the circles from this vast study what they're saying they're doing. And as you can see, and I won't use my mouse much, but everything becomes cyclical. You know, we always talk about the average consumer looking for 3 to 4 months before purchasing a car, but at least 2 to 3 of that is just a giant discovery process about how consumers are trying to locate or find what vehicle is going to best fit their lifestyle, what vehicles are now made and now available because they're not in the market all the time. And we need to find a way for our dealerships to become a part of the discovery process. And unfortunately, time is speeding up on us. Customers are visiting 26 websites per Google and spending 14 hours online researching before transacting on a vehicle. And yet, some next up data is that the average sales consultant has 5.5 hours of downtime. So we all know the situation where consumers are coming in and are really more well-versed on specific models than our own salespeople, and there's no reason for that given the amount of downtime our salespeople have. So step 1, get customers to fall in love with you. Make sure your sales team is extremely adept on product knowledge. Truthfully, product knowledge, it sounds stupid, but they aren't. And secondly, make sure they understand about the inventory options available to the customers based on their own inventory. So obviously the first connection that most consumers have with our stores is through our websites. Now, to get your websites to show up properly on Google, you need to take a nap. You know, and while you were sleeping, Google has changed, and they're looking at all these different business listing and business aggregator sites. So your name, address, and phone number needs to be the exact same on every single business listing site to make sure that Google is reading you properly. At Digital Dealer Conference, in my presentation, CSI Dealership with Sean Raines, we're going to be sharing some examples of how dealers that do not have this correct, one, a very prominent Chicago group, can be costing them hundreds, if not thousands, of actions and activities to the website every single month. So make sure, task 1, make sure you're relevant online and you're taking a good nap. Secondly, just understand website platforms in general. You need to understand, and I'm guessing everybody on a DealerOn webinar knows the difference between responsive and adaptive, but understand what a fully responsive platform is. We're going to talk about the importance of Q&A pages you need to have different triggers. As websites expand their abilities, we are going to need to understand the customer's journey on our website, record what they're looking at, and then offer them different choices based on what their searches are. And inevitably, merchandising is insanely important if you're going to try to win over customers. Your car is your absolute best ad. Each vehicle you have is your customer's best ad because it's exactly what one person is looking for. So make sure you're merchandising your inventory well, and then we'll talk about basically multiple mediums in which your dealership, your websites need to be able to be using. But as I said, every page on your website needs to be able to answer a customer's question. Whatever that one page is, it needs to answer at least one question. Not only should you have frequently asked questions pages, but think about that. What one question does this one page answer for my client? Because if a page doesn't answer the customer's question, then they're gone with the wind. And also recognize that it's not just our vehicles that are products. Our people are products, and you do not want to sell yourself short. You need to be really emphasizing through your Meet the Staff pages ways to stand out from the crowd. Consumers are looking at Meet the Staff pages and trying to find out who they're going to be working with in the store. You need to go above and beyond when it comes to the bio pages, video bios, and so on and so forth. This is just a great example from that I found from Hagerstown Honda. That does a great example when it comes to a bio. On your website, in your inventory, on your SERPs and your VDPs, you need to be displaying pricing. Unless your manufacturer is slowing you down by only allowing you to place MSRP in there, I urge you to be competitive putting the price on there. It is a war out there, and it is a price war. And just like what we do for our clients, which is measuring all of the local nearby competitors, same brand, to them to let them know what they should be pricing their vehicles at, both online and through email communication. You need to understand what your market bears and where you should be pricing your vehicles online. Websites need some sort of a hook. They need a hitch, and you need to utilize conversion tools if they're not already embedded into the website platform to better connect and contact these customers. So from live chat, text, and video, a great tool out there is Jerry Tebow's Talk Options. You need to be able to have live chat and those type of third-party tools, if it's not embedded, to be able to more quickly communicate with your customers. The ability to get pre-approved through credit applications, the ability to give estimates or guides on what vehicles and trades are worth. Vehicle comparisons are something that more and more customers are looking for, but unfortunately, because not enough of our websites have them, they are going to third-party resource sites to do vehicle comparisons, when these are things that you can place on your own websites. And then market reports, value reports on vehicles, vehicle history reports, things that influence the customer. DealerOn, another shout out to DealerOn, has partnered with CarStory, which is a great company. It's a data company, and it's free. If you just go to carstory.com, if you're a loyal DealerOn client, you might already have it, where this is an embedded tool on your SERP and on your VDP that will truly show the value of what that vehicle stands for in the market to your customers as a way to, on used cars, influence a customer's decision. Once again, you need to start building up evidence. You need to get people to start falling in love with your people, your products, and your platform in order to win them over. Understand what words need to be said. This is not a high school, if you like my car, check yes, if you don't, check no, will you date me type of question. You need to use the right lingo to better attract both from a click down from a SERP to a VDP and a VDP to a form field submission. Simply put, based on all of the data that was released in a vast study, price is by far the most sought after clickable button that people want to submit a form field on, is the ability to get more pricing information or the ability to get more information in general. Far outweighs every other button that is to be clicked. At the end of the day, you have the ability, much like Meg Ryan did with Tom Hanks in the hit 1990s film Sleepless in Seattle. She fell in love with him before she even met him. If your website is constructed properly, if your digital assets are constructed properly, if you are doing the right things socially, you can tell a story about your dealership where they will choose you before having ever met you. And that's the goal of a website. And if they do not submit a lead and leave, well, you need to get a boomerang there, keep them coming back with retargeting. You need to retarget all of your customers because there's no better way than to have them come back to your site again and again and to have that visual presence in front of them. So that is everything when it comes to influencing a customer before you even meet them. That is, the websites being the I don't want to say Tinder, and I don't know any other, because I've been married for God knows how many years. I really don't know how many years, so I'm glad my wife isn't listening to this. But from a lead and call management perspective, well, you've met my wife. You know she'd probably come, but I think it's like
you're dead already when she hears this playback. So
yeah, listen to anything I say. We've been married long enough. But we can't just say anything. When a phone call comes in, your people cannot just say anything. When an email comes in, your people cannot just send anything. You need to be training them. And I think we all know, we're all smart enough dealers on this call, that there's an importance to call monitoring and call managing software. You need to be listening to it, and moreover, not just listening and crying, which you do and say anything. I gave her my heart, she gave me a pen. It's heartbreaking to listen to these calls, but you need to use them to make you better. So make sure that your team is well trained by phone and well trained on what to send to customers, because you're not Lloyd Dobler, you're not wordsmiths anymore. When a new internet lead comes in and you get that You've Got Mail ding that AOL provides you, you need to start deconstructing that lead. You cannot just send back any single one simple template to all lead. All leads are not created equal. You need to get to know the customer. You need to start researching who they are, what they want, what's valuable about that vehicle, and what's valuable about their search, so you can start really leveraging everything you know about them to influence their decision to choose you. And time is of the essence. Everything is about time, and the quicker you can get back to a customer, preferably within 10 to 15 minutes, the better off you're going to be. There is such a precipitous decline in response rate after a 15-minute response that it is scary. So really make it a focus for each one of your team members to be responding back quickly. And recognize that every single first response and first connection with a customer is like a blind date. You need to have a good first impression, and you need to be asking questions right away in your email communication. You are not just an answer desk. You need to create a dialogue back and forth if you want this date to work out. And understand that the first 24 hours of a lead's life, so much is decided upon by the customer as whether or not you're going to be able to see them again, and you can squeeze a lot into one fine day. See how I'm doing this, Eliana?
Dude, you're the master. Believe me, you had me 20 slides.
Hello? And hello? Did I have that hello? Come on. You can say that. Anything else wouldn't have been applicable. So understand, just like when Harry met Sally, customers are not going to fall in love with you right away through lead management. They are not going to fall head over heels just for your response. Sometimes they will, but it needs some semblance of continued follow-up, and every single thing you need to send them needs to be one more element to your courtship. You need to slowly get to know each other, slowly understand what it is that is influencing their decisions and what they are looking for. So think to yourself, what is going to blow up their skirt to get in a first personal response email? You can really send one, maybe two long emails to clients ever, and your first personal response can be that one. first off, answer their questions, provide them the MSRP and a discounted price in email communication, regardless of brand. Tell them what the savings are from having contacted your online team. Give them alternate vehicles or what options are available to them. The one thing that consumers are saying that is important to them, that a sales professional brings to the table, is the ability to let them know what other vehicles they might want to consider that they haven't. Don't try to sell them something they didn't ask for, but just bring it to their attention. And you have the ability to provide visuals. Your emails need to be visual, whether it's the insertion of inventory. Is that a real word? I'm going to say, I just didn't want to say insert. When it comes to the inserting a photo into an email or embedding a video, you can make your messaging very, very, very visual to the customer. But what you say and what you send to them cannot just be pillow talk. You cannot say things that have no value to them. You cannot do basic, boring follow-up. You need to have a library of whether it be templates or, I'd almost say, causes, an entire playlist of things that your sales team, your internet managers, and your BDC agents can send at their disposal or can create on the whim when it comes to sharing your customer testimonials with customers, sharing your true value proposition on what benefit it is above and beyond, hey, we're family owned and operated and we have great customer service and a really good inventory. Think about really what separates you. Send out surveys from managers. Offer to send them every single incentive change, pics, videos, third-party recommendations of awards. It's something we just started doing for our clients, which is building out everything that has been said good about each individual model they sell, from Car Connection, Car and Driver, Motor Trend, Yahoo Autos, Edmunds, KBB, Auto Trader. And it takes some time to put these together, but you can do it because we can, and we're a boutique consulting firm. It's doable. Send things that are relevant to your customers, that are more for them than are for you. Don't ask me questions. Don't sit down at a date with another person and talk about yourself and ask them questions about, hey, what do you like about my hair? You ask questions and you say things that you know are relevant to them, and that's how you're going to get them to fall for you. Do not say, you'll lose a customer in 10 days if you just keep asking them, are you still interested? Have you bought yet? Are you still in the market? Hey, I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. So stop asking those dumb questions. Remove every single one of those from every single email that your team is sending and start to supply them with more substance. And it hurts my heart to actually say the words more substance on a slide with Matthew McConaughey. Short of True Detective, and we talked about this for 30 minutes, short of like True Detective and Dallas Buyers Club, Time to Kill, Lincoln Lawyer, and Days of Confused, he has no worth to put them up. But
just personal opinion, though. Personal opinion.
but you need one thing I can't help but say is push your stores, push your agents to pick up the phone and call more. Pick up the phone and call more than once on day one. One of the things we do is we monitor how thoroughly leads are handled for our clients, and we send back reports. So interestingly enough, I can tell you we advise every single client we have to call more than once on day one if they do not reach a customer during the first phone call attempt. And yet, even though people are told to do it, almost 63% of people choose not to make a second call day one. And that's those that are being held accountable, that know we're looking, that know we're going to tell their managers when they're not doing it. And it's still over 60% don't. You cannot, and it can't be about one call. It cannot just be about doing it one time. Don't forget about your customer. You need to continue calling them. So I will tell you that some of the data we have, and this is based on 18,000 leads that we have monitored the life cycle of, 70% of all sales professionals, internet professionals, BDC agents never call an internet prospect after day 3. 70% never call. So go into your CRM, do some of this heavy lifting yourself, and find out how long your team is calling and attempting to contact your customers. So I'll turn this over to the first poll question.
Actually, it's our only poll question, isn't it? Do you have a second one? All right, audience. It's your only poll question today, but we really want to know what's happening at your dealership. Please take a look at the screen now and let us know the answer to this question. How many phone call attempts do you know your team is making to a lead in the first 9 days? That's right. Seems like an easy question, right? Please select one of the following. Do you know that they're making 1 phone call, 2 or 3 phone calls, 4 or 5 phone calls, or do you know that they're making more than 5 phone calls in 9 days? Now, of course, we're talking for 1 lead and we're talking for 1 person, okay? Or the last answer is, I actually have no way of knowing that. That's also an answer that we've provided for you. So, again, how many phone call attempts do you know for a fact that your team is making to a lead in the first 9 days? 1, 2 or 3, 4 or 5, more than 5, or you admit you have no way of knowing. Once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. Michael wrote in, I wish it was 5 plus, but I can verify at least 3. Well, thank you for your honesty, Michael. I do appreciate that. All right, Joe. By the way, Joe, I did not know that romantic comedies were my thing, because if you ask me, hey, I like movies where stuff blows up, but I believe I have seen every single movie that you have shown so far.
No, as have I. And by all means, for those of you who are fans of film, take to Twitter, at Joe Webb, at Eliana Raggio, and talk to me. Hey, I love this movie. Hey, I hate that movie. Hey, I agree Matthew McConaughey can't act his way out of a wet paper bag. Give us some feedback, not just about my presentation, but about movies, because it's going to be so much more fun afterwards.
Well, I have to say, the stuff that you're working into your little teaching gig here is really brilliant.
I actually figured out where I could say the name of every single movie included in what I say, but I thought that would get really redundant.
Michael wrote back and he says, why is Joe so tough on Matthew? My wife thinks he's great. Of course she does. I think he's great too. Who wouldn't want to look at that lump of
Eliana, when you first saw a pic of Matthew McConaughey when we were going over this webinar, what did you say? You said, and I quote, he was so great in Magic Mike.
He was awesome in Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Okay.
His acting was superb.
Superb. Okay, let's close this poll and share the results. All right, audience, here we go. Joe, 10% of today's audience admit they know for a fact that their team is making 1 phone call attempt in the first 9 days. Now, the majority, 37%, say they know 2 or 3 phone calls are made to each lead within the first 9 days. A third of today's audience, 33%, said it's more like 4 to 5 phone call attempts. 10% of today's audience said nope. Their people they know for a fact are doing 5+ phone call attempts in the first 9 days. And the remaining 10% said they admit they have no way of knowing how many phone call attempts are being made to each of the leads that come in. Joe?
Yes. So interestingly enough, and first off, what we've learned at Dealer Knows is that just because you've got the process, and what did you do here?
I know, right? I told you when I do the poll question, it gets all screwed up all of a sudden.
Just because you've got the process built out to do that many doesn't mean they're actually making those calls. What we've been able to see from over 18,000 leads that are handled, the average amount of calls made over the course of 9 days is 2.1. So over the 9 days of a lead's life, 2.1 calls are made. And I think we can all agree if we understand how important it is to connect with a customer by voice. And don't get me wrong, text is great, video is great, but phone calls still seem to happen and seem to have a place in BDCs and in internet departments, 2 calls is not enough. So by all means, what I'd say is keep an eye on that. Just because something's built out into the CRM doesn't mean it's actually being completed. Make sure the tasks are being done the right way. And don't give up on them. Customers will be the runaway bride right before you think you've got them engaged, and then you never hear from them again. Keep chasing after them. Ongoing. We've recently come across dealers that have only 30-day processes, 45-day processes. Some have a 280-day process, which might be excessive. But understand that you cannot just give up if somebody, skedaddles. Oh, I haven't heard from them. I'll flip them to lost. Cannot take place anymore. And recognize from a lead management perspective, sometimes it takes 3 to tango. You need multiple mediums. As I said before, you should be offering, when you email a customer that send an inquiry to you, you can be offering in-person connectivity. You can be offering text connectivity, phone connectivity, video connectivity, multiple mediums that can engage them on what the best way is to follow up with the customers, and then people. It doesn't always have to be owned by one person. You can have a sales manager, a second BDC agent, or a sales professional get involved in lead follow-up, much like it's a showroom turnover. And everything you should be doing through email, through communication, should be about setting the date. And it's setting the date of the appointment. When are they going to come in and essentially put a ring on it? Even though that's a Beyonce song and this is Jennifer Lopez. When are they going to come in and put a ring on that car, set the appointment? Unfortunately, from the data we have, even though it should be set up inside of a CRM, it should be set up to automatically fire or to be sent, over 35% of all appointments that have an appointment never receive a confirmation call or an email. So make sure that you have that scheduled inside your CRM. Now, inevitably, when a customer comes up and you meet them and you shake hands with them, you're not supposed to like them. It's sort of like getting introduced to somebody from your mom. It's like, it's not going to work out because who introduced you. So recognize that they all think people working in dealerships are grumpy old men. It's how they perceive us to be. And we have the opportunity to change their opinion, and how we can change their opinion is by not forcing them to do the dumb, antiquated showroom dance that is the road to the sale. I've been going on a tear recently at all the conferences and webinars saying the road to the sale is broken or the road to the sale is dead, and it is. Customers are coming into the cycle at different exits at different times, having completed different things, and the idea that we have to do a 1-step, 2-step, 3-step, 4-step through 14 steps with them, most of which are redundant based on the research they've done, is absolutely insane. You can start separating yourself in the showroom by listening to your customers. And recognize, as I said, they don't want to like you, they're star-crossed lovers, and yet, if you ask the right questions, if you find out what women want, if you find out what men want, the needs assessment, in my opinion, is probably the most important aspect, but I hate just saying a needs assessment. It's sort of like a customer research assessment, what research has been done in advance, and a goals assessment. What are the goals for visiting your store that day? And if you just think of those 2 things from now on when you work with every customer, ask them what experience they've had online in advance of coming in, what research they've completed, and then secondly, what their goals are. And then you can ask all the other needs assessment questions, but you need to do that to streamline your BS road to the sale. Use the CRM. One great piece of data from the Next Up, again, is 50% of walk-ins are not logged. 50%. So, it's almost like much like this presentation is sort of Joe Webb speed dating. You cannot come in, sit yourself in front of a customer, have them go to a new table, and then not remember to put them in your mental database or your CRM. You need to recognize who they are. So if you have a CRM, you need to be using it at all times from a sales perspective. Ask your CRM provider for utilization reports on who's adding in phone numbers, email addresses, who's completing their tasks if it can do that, and it will be a benefit to you. But open your mind up as to what a CRM is. Don't be too myopic or close-minded. Great ability to use this slide with that close-mindedness. Because a CRM can do so much, it needs to be mobile ready. It needs to understand the lifetime value of every single client you've sold before, and have to have like big sweeping enterprise level dashboards and access if you want to truly understand what a CRM is. And inevitably, you need to get that customer to graduate from being a shopper into a buyer, and that is all up to helping them select the right vehicle. So how do you make a customer sort of fall overboard for you and overboard for a vehicle? You need to start. Do you like this movie, Eliana? I sort of like grew up on this. I don't know if you know. Like my mother used to make me watch this ad nauseum.
Okay, I just want you to know, I remember that scene where he builds her the shelf thing for the shoes.
Yes.
Remember the shoe closet? And I was like, I got to get myself a shoe closet. And then she throws him overboard because she didn't like it because it was made out of pine. Oh my gosh, I don't know what she's talking about.
Great memory. Great memory. So how do you get customers to fall in love with or fall overboard for your vehicles? So much of it happens during both the presentation of the vehicle and most specifically, even when I say negotiation, I'd rather say the proposal. Negotiation means there's got to be a back and forth, and we all know that customers are forcing the back and forth on us, even though we're being transparent with our numbers. Get away from the concept of no more, of penciling deals. If you have a manager that loves their Sharpie, you need to send them packing. So everything needs to be printed on a professional proposal or buyer's order with no writing or markers whatsoever. But to get them to fall for a vehicle, share the recon information. Seriously, share the recon information. It's very valuable to customers. Share the vehicle history information if it's a used vehicle. Share a market pricing tool. If you utilize a vAuto, you need to use that as a tool to build value in your vehicle. Utilize third-party sites, the Edmunds True Market Values of the world, the Kelley Blue Books of the world. And you need to even influence showrooming, maybe by giving them your own iPad with your own information on it to help them build value in that vehicle. Give them a video intro to finance, vehicle delivery coordinator. You can change how a customer perceives buying a car, all between the product presentation and the proposal. And as I said, it cut out what year Cutting Edge was released. This is the Cutting Edge starring D.B. Sweeney. Great guy. I had the ability to meet him. Such a nice dude. But be on the cutting edge when it comes to technology. If you are a dealership that is not thinking about putting iPads into your people's hands or onto your showroom, you are going to get left behind by the big boys and the large, conglomerates of auto selling right now, because those are the type of things that have the ability to influence a customer rather than pulling out their own device, cross-shopping your nearest competitor based on whether or not they're getting a good deal while sitting in your store. You have the ability to give them a tablet with your own information on it, with your own type of data, market reports, information about accessories that can help contain them and contain their attention while they're in the showroom floor. And something else you need to know when a customer's in the showroom, if you want to get them to choose you and fall in love with your dealership, then there needs to be a manager introduction. Still, there's some great, there's some great data, again, that I was able to present at the last digital dealer, where unfortunately a manager TO only happens just over 50% of the time, and yet it has such an influence as to whether or not a customer purchases. As you can see right there, from a walk-in customer, a manager TO almost doubles their likelihood to buy, and from a customer that came in on an appointment, once again, 18% higher closing ratio on those customers that get a manager TO. So make sure you're introducing them. And if there's 3 things that are important to every single purchase, it is the test drive, the manager TO, and a strong written proposal. And that's going to influence it more than anything. So I'll give my right-hand man and partner Bill Playford credit, because he and I spent countless hours on redefining what we believe a road to the sale is. And it's no longer a linear 14-step chronological process that somebody needs to fire. If you're asking the right questions, it can go in a multitude of directions. And as you can see, if their goals and customer research indicates that their trade value is the most important, then you go to the trade first before showing them the vehicle or discussing financing. If they are most concerned about the financing aspects of the vehicle and whether or not they can get bought, then that is the first aspect you take. You will always hit the other 2, but understand that at every single breaking point, whether it be their trade, the vehicle and vehicle price, or their financial situation, they're going to then say, hey, I've got, I'm going to need this before this happens, and then either you are going to reevaluate what you're going to give them, or they're going to reevaluate what they're willing to take, and then it goes on down to the next activity. And then one thing that, for some reason, road to the sales always forget after the purchase, there needs to be some life cycle management after this. But this is a courtship of a customer. This is developing a long-time, love affair with customers to get them to fall for you over time. So leading into the post-sale, the lifelong, after you've been married, after the car has been sold, you need to be remembered. If a customer walks off your lot, even with a vehicle, you make sure that you both remember them. And as a side note, as I told Eliana, I won't say I regret it, but I was accepted to graduate film school back when I was graduating college, and I turned it, out in California to be a movie critic, and I actually turned it down to work for a year, and I got in based on a screenplay that I had written, and to this day, do I regret it? No, but if there are 3 films that are what I would say that I most regret not being able to be a part of the making or thinking of, it is Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and then Before Midnight. Brilliant, brilliant concepts, acting, and dialogue and all those. But nonetheless, you can't let them forget about you, and you cannot forget about them. Your CRM is your gold, or is sort of your safety deposit box to making sure your customer's information is in there, and moreover, you have to visit it time and again to make sure you're staying relevant in your customers' not purchases, but in your customers' lives. It's a bumpy road. Not every brand, no brand has 100% retention, so you need to stay on top of them and make them continually fall for you, both as an organization and a person over and over. And obviously, one great element to getting customers to fall for you over and over is having an excellent reputation and leveraging your past customers as part of their reputation. I'm actually doing pretty good on time considering how fast I've been speaking and how many slides there are. Ask yourself this one question when it comes to, can I get more customers to fall in love with us? How many different places are you asking for reviews and ratings from? Is it just in an email after they purchase? Is it through a company that hounds them endlessly to give you a review? Are you asking from service with maybe a card stapled to every single outgoing invoice? Is it from your website? Are you asking for reviews from your website? Is it on the back of business cards? Are you incentivizing your people to always be asking? How many different places? Because if it is less than 3, you are doing it wrong and you're not going to have enough reviews. Your reputation, like a ghost from girlfriend's past, God, it's horrible. Did anybody, even if you saw it, do you remember it? Your reputation stays with you for a long time. So you need to be very present of mind to make sure that you do not overlook a customer's negative review and you respond to it and you correct it immediately. Because retention is the goal. In the end, you want them to return to you. And most clients, most dealers, I believe, think of their business being, 90% of their focus is on the conquest of new business and 10% on retention. And any great organization would say 90% on retention and 10% on conquest. So really think about how you interact with your customers, your past customers, to create these relationships with them and these experiences. Did you see this movie, Eliana?
I've seen them all.
Okay. So again, it's all about love, actually, and you need to ask them to write you love letters, especially if it's Rick Grimes. That was for Bill Clayford right there.
By the way, that was my absolute favorite movie. That was.
Hey, Eliana, you and I are going to knuckle punch, otherwise known as fist bump, next time we see each other, because Love Actually is my second favorite Christmas movie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, my first is Die Hard. So,
yes, yippee-ki-yay.
Third is Christmas Story. Let's not go down this road. You need, there's a 5-year span before a customer trades in their next vehicle. You need to own them, and your service department more likely needs to own them. And I cannot push enough, I know some of the manufacturers are pushing enough, the importance of a service BDC. Not many CRMs even have the capabilities yet, unfortunately, to do this, but it needs to be built out somewhere post-sale where you are always influencing them to set those appointments, service appointment confirmation calls, service visit post calls, 5 months after a service visit call to schedule the next, post-sale to schedule their first. You need to have your team influencing them to come back and visit over and over and over, and have them keep visiting your service department, because as many times they visit your store, the more you will own them. Car sales, and just like love and basketball, is about practice. Not many people fall in love and stay together the first time. Not many people pick up a basketball and make them hoop the first time they pick it up. And just like the first time you take a customer, you're not always going to sell that first car. Car sales is a game that must be trained and practiced forever. So internally, you need to have some semblance, above and beyond Saturday morning meetings, you need to have an internal product training and an internal process training every single week for your team to get them to do the right things. So with that, I will wrap it up with this slide. Those are the 4 things you really need to do. And I know I talked about countless individual steps, but figure out a way to meet them cute online through conversion tools, through the search engines, through a responsive platform, through answering their questions. Think about how you can date your lead and be romantic with them and court them through asking the right questions, utilizing multiple mediums, and keep them in contact with you until they say yes and come into the showroom floor, and overcome those showroom obstacles by actually listening to them. Listen to your spouse, listen to the person you want to be with, and then grow old together. Keep bringing them flowers through repeated contacts, service visits. Don't let them ever think for one moment that you've taken them for granted. And I can say that being married and with my wife as long as I can. And
How long is that? How long is that?
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and I turn it over to you.
I love it. And people are already writing in saying, this was awesome. I absolutely agree. Oh, you still have some more stuff. Go, keep going.
No. Oh, I was just going to say, I fancy myself a writer, though I don't write about anything fancy. And if you want to we have one thing that goes out once a month. It's called our dealer newsletter. So like dealer knows, haha, playing words, I'm brilliant. And you can go to dealerknows.com and sign up, or there's a link right there. You just put in your email address once a month. You'll get all of our writings, all of our comedic videos, or any comedic videos we did. We have an Ask the Experts page on our website that we answer. And it might be a week before we get the answer, but we'll always post it live. We'll always let you know when it's up, and it will be anonymous as well. So by all means, please sign up for our dealer newsletter. I'd really appreciate it.
Big question mark on the screen. That means that it is going to be time for the Q&A session with the one and only Joe Webb. And let me tell you, if you haven't gotten in your questions yet for Joe Webb, now would be the perfect time to do so. He is one of those shoot from the hip guys. He's going to tell you like it is. So if you want a straight answer, he's the guy to ask, and he is definitely knowledgeable, as you've just seen from that presentation. So get your questions in. Let's get around to helping you. We are going to get to those questions in just a minute. Before we do that, Joe, cue the game show music. It's that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends at Dealer Knows Consulting, they're giving away an awesome prize today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win 20, I hope you paid attention to this earlier, 20 task teacher graded leads. So Dealer Knows Consulting is going to go into your CRM. They're going to monitor and spot check how thoroughly your team is currently handling internet leads. And then they're going to provide you with 20 coached, graded reports as to what your team is doing right, what they can improve on, what steps they're missing in order to engage more shoppers. This is a tremendous, awesome prize for your dealership. This prize is valued at $600, but I think honestly you get a lot more out of it than just the $600. And we're going to be giving away one of those to one of you lucky webinar attendees right now. So I hope you guys are paying attention. First one to write in the correct response to the giveaway question is going to win this awesome prize. Vendors, of course, this has nothing to do with you guys. We love it when you're here, but really, if you could just sit this one out, we'd really appreciate it. This is, of course, intended for dealership personnel only. Good luck, everyone. Get to your keyboards. Here we go. It's going to be a quick question. I hope you guys are paying attention. How many different movies did Joe Webb use during this presentation? Hope you were counting. Did you count? You can take a guess. You can guess more than once. I'm just going to sit here until somebody gets the right answer. Nope, not enough. Nope, too many. Keep going. No, it wasn't 4,000. How many different movies? And I was going to say different romantic comedy movies, but there were some movies that weren't really romantic comedies, but they were, I'm ashamed to say I've seen all of them. Some more than once. No, not any that he mentioned. That he had to have put a picture on the screen of them. Can you believe no one has gotten it, Joe? They weren't counting. Somebody
last time somebody hit it right away, and I'm like, oh, it's like they knew it. You know, it's like they knew the question was coming. I guess that dude wasn't paying attention.
I have to say, somebody is really close, though. Somebody who just wrote in is really close. Somebody is really close. Ooh, you know who you are. Oh, there we go. We have a winner, Karen Ann. It took you 3 tries, but you did it. 47 is the correct answer. Karen Ann, congratulations. I'm writing down your name.
Congratulations, Karen.
She wrote in 45, and then she wrote in 46, and then she finally wrote in 47. I love it. I love it. I love it. Karen Ann, where are you from, my love? Write in, let us know the dealership. I protest. Failure to launch does not count.
Yes, that is hilarious. Whoever did that, it deserves at least gets a hug from me next time they see me.
Oh, Michael Smith said that.
Awesome. Great. So good.
Oh, God. I can't. My cheeks are hurting. Okay, Karen Ann. She's from Steve Marshall Ford Lincoln. Congratulations, Karen Ann. You know what else? Oh, Nanaimo. I don't know what that means. Nanaimo. Does that mean anything to you? Is that a city? I don't even know what that is. It is a city. Okay, thanks. I have no idea. What state is that in?
Or country.
Yeah, or country. Oh, it's in Canada. No wonder I don't know it. I'm sorry, Karen Ann. I have no idea. I only know there's only like 3 cities in Canada. There's Toronto, Montreal, and Montreal, right? There's Ontario and Montreal.
Nope,
that's it.
Not
right?
a problem. We've got several Canadian clients that we do task teacher for as well. So we'll be more than happy to dig into the CRM. I'm sure you will provide me her information. We'll reach out to Karen Ann and get that started and go over the process with them.
Steve Marshall Ford Lincoln. I am writing down all this. Congratulations, Karen, and everyone else who played along. Thank you so much. I hope you had fun. We give away cool prizes every week, so if you didn't win today, don't worry. Come on back, another webinar, and who knows, you could be the big winner that time. Of course, we got to thank our good friends at Dealer Knows Consulting for their incredible generosity. Karen Ann, good luck with that. That's going to be an awesome, awesome prize for you and your dealership. Okay. Audience, are you ready for some of these questions? Are you ready, Joe?
Yes.
Okay, if you want to, you can turn on your webcam. I don't know if you want to, but if you do. There? All right.
I should. Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
Let me do it.
So while
I
you're...
would have put on pants, but
we didn't test it. Are you wearing a shirt?
this time.
This time. Hey, how you doing, handsome? All right.
Here we go. This was more for me to see myself than...
All right, here we go. Okay, your first question comes to you from Andrea, and she says, how do you handle a customer who is clearly all about the price?
Well, if a customer is clearly about the price, what I'd say is respect their wishes. I mean, your goal can always be to build value, and that's one of the benefits of the test drive and a streamlined process. But inevitably, some people are about price. I'm a price shopper. I'm such a price snob that if I'm on Amazon buying something and it says click in to see the discounted price, screw you, I'm not going to click in. You just show me the price. So if a customer is all about price, what I'd say is, unfortunately, respect their wishes. It's not going to be everybody. Don't get me wrong, 20, 40%, that might be their sole single underlying goal is to get the absolute lowest price, and if that's the case, then you have to cater to them. Now, if there's some semblance of a process where you've had the opportunity to build value in there, you can always relay that, and build in that. But utilize the third-party tools available to you, as I said, to combat price. If customers are going on 26 different sites, and maybe I've said this before, but I remember I was a closer at a store, and I sat down with a customer. It was really early on, and he came out and he threw down like 100 pages of paper on the desk, and he said, "This is all the research I've done," and it was from a company called fightingchance.com. Real company. Back in the day, you would pay them $25 with a credit card, and they would fax you like 100 pieces of paper of what everything costs. What gap insurance costs, what your wholesale finance reserve is, what the true invoice is, hold back, everything. More than even today I may have ever seen. And he used it to negotiate. And I remember walking away sort of dizzy from the desk. I can't remember if I sold it to this day or not. But I remember saying there will never be another day that a customer knows more about what's online than I do. And I just dedicated myself to understanding every single site better. So if a customer says, this is what I want the price to be, I would simply ask, great, can I ask what sites provided you this information that says you can purchase it at this rate? And I would know how to drill down into that same site better than them to show them the little buttons that clicked. Maybe it was a conditions quiz, or maybe it was a button that says understanding about dealer holdback, or again, what the true market value is on the vehicle, or if they've seen the true car pricing. You need to know, and your team needs to know how to combat that, to educate customers, because it can be all about price, but it still has to be about a realistic price with a foundation. But don't try to whip them off of price. If somebody's interested in price, that's what they're there to do. And if you try to change subjects, they're going to pick up on it.
Great.
Sorry.
Great. No, you're doing great, Joe. Thank you. Great question, Andrea. Thank you so much. Got to get to this next question from our good friend Renee Stewart. She's actually on here, and
Love you, Renee Stewart.
I know, she's awesome.
Love me some Renee Stewart.
Love me some Renee Stewart too. She's also been on a DealerOn webinar as well, but she has to leave soon, so I'm going to get her question in now. She says, we know that the customer is Googling or researching the salesperson and the dealership before they visit the store. What's your advice for sales professionals for Googling or researching the customer before they visit the store? Do you recommend that the salesperson become familiar with who the customer is, i.e. interests, career, associates, etc.? And then she put hashtag true detective. So
It's almost like she's setting me up to just kick the crap out of this question because it's awesome. Very few people, but my partner on the call was there in the audience when I spoke at Digital Dealer probably in 2004, 2005, and a big portion of my presentation was about deconstructing the lead. It's something that I've championed since pretty much the beginning. Like Vin Solutions as a CRM, for instance, placed in those LinkedIn, Facebook tabs based on my request several years ago. I'm a big believer in Googling the customers. As much as you can learn about them, the better off you are. You don't want to say, hey, I'm looking at your page and I see you were at a kids recital. I really like kids recitals. That's going to crap out of somebody. But by all means, anything that you can glean online about a customer to help you understand their lifestyle and help you understand their journey better, it is going to allow you to influence that conversation you are having with them. If a customer can Google you and find out about you, great. If you are dedicating a page, like one page on your website to every single consultant you have in store, brilliant. But you need to be doing the same thing for them. You need to be researching customers, but you need to do it tactfully is the best way I can say it. But it has been, and we say it all the time at DealerOn, it has probably been one of single-handedly the most influential things to helping me outsell every other internet sales manager that I've ever come across, is doing those little steps. It takes 1 minute, maybe two, to do a research to understand where somebody works. Maybe they work close. And if you know they work close, then you can do something such as offer to bring the vehicle to their work. Hey, if I knew you worked nearby, I'd be happy to bring you this vehicle to drive at your own convenience during your lunch hour. Is that something you'd like to take advantage of? You already know where they work. You just need to know that information before you make that offer. So those are the type of things that you can do to influence, to do one more thing to make a customer know that you're listening or you're caring about them. And I think just like any single dating app nowadays, it gives you some information about the other person before you click yes, before you swipe right, before you whatever. How would I know? I'm old. But,
you said swipe right like you know.
I had to research that for something recently. But nonetheless, so now my sister is on Tinder, so I'll be like, no, hair lip, no, earrings, no, tattoos, no. So I just, I was flipping right there, so that's a no. Maybe I'd be flipping left. But nonetheless, so I've been able to play with the app, and I think it's brilliant. Nonetheless, I will say that, yes, the more, everything we do allows us to understand more about a decision we're going to make, and you need to use that same technology to help you make a decision about the customer.
Agreed. Now, Renee wanted me to let you know that she thought this webinar was great, and she loves you, and she'll see you in Digital Dealer, and she even hinted that she might actually sing a song at your karaoke party. I'm just saying.
Great. I will take it.
All right, here we go. Thank you so much, Renee. Your next question, actually a couple questions that came in. Jeff said, I'd like to share this in a meeting. Can you please send me the PowerPoint? And Joy says, I have to run, sad face. How can I get the video or the notes? Jeff and Joy, I'm just going to let you in on some stuff here, okay? The same exact link that you used to register, in a few hours, that link is going to be now housing the recording of this webinar, all right? So all we do is we remove the registration part, and then it becomes the landing page for the recording. But I'm also going to be emailing you the link to the recording later this evening. Jeff, if you would like a copy of this PowerPoint, please email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com, and I will get that over to you as quickly as I can, all right? All right, your next question comes to you from Danny. Danny says, Joe, do you like the idea of salespeople having their own websites?
I think, hey, good for them. The truth is most salespeople do little to nothing when it comes to garnering their own leads. So I think if I were a salesperson, I most specifically would have my own website. But at the very least, I'd say dealers should take that next step and say, above and beyond a Meet the Staff page, why can't every salesperson have their own page? Why can't it be a abcmotors.com/Joe Webb, and I will let them go out so they don't have to spend any of their own money having a website, hosting a website, adding the website. I will build them the structure, I will build them the layout and the platform, and I will give them that URL, and they can use that to sell themselves, to share with their database, their people, because you need to give a salesperson, rather than just the ability to look to see what's driving on the lot and walking out the door, you need to give them something that they can take ownership of, that they can add content to, add information to, share their own personal content information from, because there's two steps to the business. One is connecting consumers with cars, which a lot of great companies are focusing on doing now, and the other is connecting consumers with the sales representatives, or I'd almost say the facilitators of the transaction, if you will. So anything you can do to help your salespeople do that, the better off you are.
Agreed.
So
okay.
I'm all for having your own website if you want to do it. It just costs money out of your own pocket, and sales I could give myself a trick back here. The dealership should be thankful for you, and the OEMs, and this for one woman individual, should kiss your butt that you're willing to do that and put your name behind their brand, your personal name behind their brand. But I know that OEMs don't always like having the name of their brand inside any name that's not a doing business as.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh, I think I know who we're talking about. Okay, great question. Thank you so much, Danny. All right, Joe, your next question comes from Christopher. He says, we do not post prices on our used cars, as this is an opportunity to drag a customer into the showroom. He actually wrote drag.
Drag. So this is the setup. He hates it. He hates this concept.
All right, hold on. He says, is this old thinking? Should we post the price or the link to a vehicle directly on the car? Our salespeople don't carry price lists with them, just to catch people. Not sure if that works in today's world. He signed it, by the way, Christopher signed it anonymous.
Yes. Now, the answer is simple. Yes, you should have pricing on used cars. Yes, it is old school, archaic, antiquated thinking. And no, you're not going to catch many customers like that. I'm from a day when every single used car, you added $6,000 to it, an exact amount, $6,000 to every single used car when it came on the lot, and that was the price that you told them, and you had $6,000 to play with every single time, and that's when I started selling, and nowadays it simply does not work. Think of how you buy anything. If it says call for price, it means it's the highest price. I said, I don't even click in to see the discounted savings to put it in my shopping cart because I don't want it there. The shopping cart is my little shrine of things I'm going to purchase. So I need to see a price regardless of the size of it. Even for, I know it's a big purchase, even for homes. A real estate agent doesn't go around and show you homes and be like, this is 6 bedroom, 6 bedrooms, 6 bath, and you needed a 2-bedroom, 2-bath because you're in the $200,000 price range. They don't do that. You need to not land a customer on a car. You need to land them on something that's going to fit their lifestyle. So yes, bad thinking. You can share this answer in this video with the person. It's just stupid.
Okay. I do agree with you, though, Joe. Thank you. Chris, thank you so much for your question. We really do appreciate it. We hope it helped you out. All right?
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. Things will get better for you, Chris. Things will get better one day.
I hope it does.
You might not be with the right companion right now, but things will get better for you. You'll find somebody who loves you and does things right for you.
Okay. All right, Joe, your next question comes to you from David. He says, so we should call a lead every day at least once? For how long? And how many emails per day?
Well, hell no, not every day. That would be like telemarketing, and I'd shoot myself in the face. But on day one, if you do not reach a customer the first time, there is, and simple math, by the way, if you call somebody twice, you have twice the chance of reaching them. On day one, if the lead has come in overnight or that first half of the day and you call them sometime before noon, it is very advantageous in your benefit to call a customer a second time closer to around lunchtime. Closer to around dinner time, after 5 p.m. There's a reason that if you do any Google AdWords, Google loves calling almost everybody between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Google knows this, and Google's smarter than everything. So because of that, I would say do those same things for your customer. On day one, you want to call the customer twice if you haven't reached them the first time. You need to start making your calls more sparing. You can also, if you have the right technology, replace a call occasionally with a text without giving away all of our secret sauces, because we provide templates and processes and workflows and scripts to our clients. I will say that somewhere along 9 calls over the course of 30 days is acceptable, and that's pretty much how we've built out the majority of our calls, is 9 calls over 30 days. If you reach somebody on day 2 or day 3, you don't need to call them on day 6 or day 9 or day 13. You don't need to make those calls, because if you've reached a customer, only 3 things are going to happen. They're going to say, yes, I like you and I love you, and I want to be with you, and I'm coming into the store to see you. Or they're going to say, no, I hate you, lose my number, never call me again. Or they're going to say, I'm just not ready yet. I just got out of a relationship. I'm still working on it, still thinking where I am. And then that's when you need to put them off. That's when you need to put the pause button on and revisit them at a later date. But inside your CRM, it is fine to automatically schedule 9, 10 calls over the course of X amount of days. I was fortunate enough to do some focus groups, and I'm speaking at Driving Sales Executive Summit as well in October, another great event about how to conduct focus groups and what are some of the takeaways. And interestingly enough, one thing that was overwhelmingly said was, I don't like submitting my information on dealership websites because they're going to keep calling me every single day. So, the truth is they don't mind a few calls early. And they don't even mind long-term calls to check in. They just don't want the consistent hammering and telemarketing that some people really try to influence dealerships to make.
Joe, thank you so much for that answer. I don't want to laugh at your jokes, but you are so darn funny to me. So thank you. Okay, your last question comes to you from, is that a back scratcher? The last question comes to you from Michael. This is the Michael who you said you owe him a hug because he sees eye to eye.
Michael Smith.
Yes, Michael Smith.
Failure to launch isn't a real film. Brilliant. Really good.
Okay, he says, Joe, how do I convince our ownership that you can have all the processes in the world for my BDC, but if you have none once they arrive, that we will not maximize our appointments? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so how do I convince our ownership that you can have all the processes in the world for my BDC, but if you have none once they arrive, that we will not be able to maximize our appointments? Joe.
Well, as I said, it's one more step. The website's done its job. It's garnered the lead. You've done the job, and you've gotten the customer to show up. It sounds like there's just a follow-up for the salespeople. What's amazing is the internet's quantifiable, and it's pretty much the only department that allows criticism, because you capture all of these great metrics such as contact made percentage, appointment set, appointment conversion percentage, so on and so forth. But there's almost no ability to measure, we've got it, but there's no ability to measure for the most part in CRMs if people are or are not completing their own tasks, following up with customers, and doing things the right way. How you can complete the ownership in a lot of ways is just through post-visit surveys. That'd be like something that you can influence. Like, what I'd love to say is, hey, smack your manager and let him know, why are you holding me accountable and not your own sales floor? Get with it. This is 2015, and you're running the ship into the ground. There's another way, which is, what can you influence, Michael Smith? And that is, make sure that every customer that visits and leaves unsold is from your customer care center or whatever it is, sending out some semblance of a survey to ask about their experience in store, and moreover, have they heard back from their, their product expert or sales consultant? What other information are they waiting for? What prevented them from purchasing right there? And those are things that you can ask, that you can place inside the CRM, that come out from you and your team as that second voice or virtual TO after they've left, and you can start aggregating that data and present it to your ownership. 3 months, 4 months of surveys, and you come to them and say, here's everything they've said. They never hear back from the sales consultant. They never do this, and they still would like to. You will find a lot of customers, there's a tool called Showroom Watchdog that's pretty good, where they call and they get this information over the phone. And you will be surprised how many customers say, I'm still waiting to hear back. I'm still waiting for more information. That salespeople just drop the ball. I've got a ball. I've got a ball.
I'm waiting for you. Where is your ball, Joe? Ball drop.
Yeah. So that is that.
Joe, I want to thank you. You are one of the sharpest fellows in the auto industry. I love, love, love webinaring with you. You are amazing. And on top of it, you keep me in stitches. Audience, if you stop with that.
You're the sharpest. I've got props.
Audience, if you haven't had the opportunity to see him speak live or even just shake his hand or work with this man, you are missing out. Get on an email out to him, track him down, try and see him live, and meet him in person. You will not regret it. He is amazing. Joe Webb, thank you again for putting on a tremendous presentation. We so appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate DealerOn consistently doing these every single week, educating dealers. I know there's so much more information than there was out there before. Some of it is bad and some of it is good, but I love that you give one great place that forward-thinking people that want to be progressive and want to change automotive have a place to go once a week, dedicate an hour or two, and hear from other people that are peers, and not just mentors, but peers, and can help grow their own thought process about how to make their lives better.
Thank you so much. And hey, we'll see you over at DSES and Digital Dealer as well, right?
Yeah, are you going to be at Used Car Week in Scottsdale too?
I don't think they're letting me out for that one, but you have fun there. All right, we're going to sing some karaoke together too, maybe some Dashboard by the.
You always kill it. You and your ballads.
Oh, maybe we'll see. All right, audience, thank you so much. And by the way, this webinar is going to be posted.
If you want to see Eliana sing, there's video of her on the Facebook page for the Joe and Sean Karaoke-thon. We have video of Eliana just tearing it up. So go like the page on Facebook, Joe and Sean's Karaoke-thon, and you will see Eliana in all of her glory just tearing it up.
You know what? You really know how to destroy a moment. You really do, Joe. Thank you so much. I was in love with you a couple seconds ago. I am now going to kill you. But thank you. But come and see us live in Vegas, all right? And then we'll have some fun. By the way, this recording is going to be posted within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DealerOn.com/webinars to view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. I'm also going to send you that link in just a couple of hours. So you're going to have a link to this recording. Also, when this webinar concludes in just another moment, you're going to receive a short survey, so please fill it out. We're always looking for great feedback from our audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. And hey, I want to let you know that DealerOn is going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Vegas, baby. So if you're going to be there, please stop by and see me. We're going to be at booth 505. Stop by, say hi, let's take a picture, we'll put it on social media, something like that. We've got a great booth. And while you're getting your digital dealer on, hey, check out these speaking sessions from my other DealerOn cohorts in crime. That's right. Now remember, booth 505. Can't wait to see you there. And yeah, Joe Webb's also going to be speaking at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Vegas. He is going to be doing a talk with the Vice President of Marketing, Sean Raines, and the title, CSI Dealership. Ching, ching. And they're going to be talking about searching for clues and identifying the killers of your sales and marketing efforts. You are not going to want to miss that, so make sure you go and catch that one, all right? And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next webinar. Going from average to awesome. 5 best practices for internet sales. Most of the time, internet or BDC departments leave their sales results up to chance and possibility instead of actively concentrating on increasing the probability of achieving more sales and greater market share. Are you ready to take your internet or BDC department to the next level? We're not messing around. We've called in everyone's favorite chief digital warrior, Mark McGurran. He's going to set us on the path for superior success and bigger bottom lines. He's worked with dealers all over the country to improve their internet and BDC departments, and he's ready to share the strategies that can help take you from average to awesome. This presentation isn't for the faint of heart. During this jam-packed 1-hour webinar, Mark is going to cover 5 best practices that your internet or BDC department should be using to increase the probability that you will sell as many cars as possible. Mark will also guide managers on what they must do on a daily basis to coach and train their team to consistently achieve maximum results. If you're ready to finally get to the next level and sell more cars, then you simply can't afford to miss learning the 5 best practices for internet sales. Register now, and don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursdays, 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, hey, contact me directly. Again, my name is Eliana Raggio, and I love hearing from you, so track me down online. Facebook, Twitter, Google+. I'm on all the automotive social networks, or you can email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in DealerOn's continuing education series. Take care.